Hi friends, it's Olga. Welcome to BayBlog. Today we are talking about requirements documentation. From my experience, lack of documentation or poor documentation quality is very common for most of the projects. Usually, the team spends very little time to create documentation or to support the project knowledge base, as they have to focus on product increment. Also, no one wants to block the development and wait until documentation is ready and signed off. For some projects, it makes sense. The team simply supports the product backlog, and if there are any questions, they simply dive into the code to understand the current system behavior. However, for other projects, lack of documentation can turn into a big headache, significantly increasing the risks and making change management almost impossible, seriously limiting the customer support or even onboarding of the new team members. So let's see when documentation is a must and when it can be skipped. I would say that it depends on three base factors which should be considered altogether: domain, team size, and project duration. First of all, we should keep in mind that for some domains such as finance or healthcare, documentation is a must, because non-compliance with industry standards or regulatory requirements can lead to millions of dollars in penalties or injury to health and life for the end user. In such cases, detailed, verified and approved documentation is a prerequisite before development, no matter what is the project size or duration. If the project domain does not necessitate the requirements documentation, we can look at the project size. Skipping documentation here is less risky when the project team is small and all the team members are seated in one location. The team simply skips it, and if there are any questions, they can ask someone or simply read the code. However, in a big cross-location teams, communication becomes much more difficult and fragmented. The requirements come from different sources, and all these people need a single point of contact for true information or a system snapshot just to be able to do their job effectively. Skipping documentation in this case becomes potentially a big risk. Finally, talking about the project duration, we understand that if it lasts for a couple of months, most likely the team can skip documentation and focus on development in order to deliver as much product value as possible. However, skipping documentation on a long-term project is a time bomb, and it's only a matter of time until it explodes. Nothing is static, the requirements change, the team members come and go, the solutions are amended. In a year, no one will recall why, when, and for what purpose various things were added or changed. Searching for information will become a real challenge, like finding a needle in a haystack. It will affect team's effectiveness dramatically. The general rule here is that the documentation process should be simple, effective, and not block the development. Trying to improve the documentation process on one of my past projects, we applied an incremental approach for requirements documentation. In particular, we did several things. The functional specifications were created, approved, and delivered to the team in pieces, like on conveyor belt. Because we had a big feature, we gathered maximum information and shared it with the system architect so that he could propose a preliminary solution before we even created the user stories. Based on preliminary solution, we conducted a kind of draft functional decomposition. In other words, we broke the feature into several more or less independent pieces. Each piece potentially covered one or several logically related or dependent user stories and was further documented into a functional specification piece. On the one hand, the idea was to create the pieces of functional specification as granulated as possible so that dealing with the document, the team could get information that is relevant to a particular story or several dependent user stories. From the other hand, the functional specification had to contain enough information so that the team could get a clear picture of necessary functionality, restrictions, and dependencies. The pieces of functional specification were delivered one by one, and after approval by the customer, each functional specification was decomposed into a set of user stories. The beauty of this approach was that the team could plan and start the development using the ready and approved functional specifications, while the next piece of functional specification was still in progress or under revision. This approach works well for the customer and the team. The customer regularly gets the pieces of functional specification for approval. It calms him down, gives him a feeling of control, helps to avoid bottlenecks and delays. Plus, we continuously get his feedback and process it on the fly. The team is happy as no one likes to read huge documents containing lots of redundant information. The developer or QA opens the user story assigned to him or her and, following the link in the user story description, gets into the document which outlines the scope of a particular user story. In this way, he or she gets relevant, granulated information in which he or she is interested right here, right away. The management is also happy because nothing blocks the development. The requirements are fed into development in portions and everything works as a streamlined digestion process in a healthy body. While the team was focused on development and testing, the BA team prepared the next piece of functional specification, which was planned for the next sprint. Further, all these pieces were linked to a single feature root page in Confluence, folding like puzzle pieces into a single picture. In that way, the team got the system snapshot for corresponding feature. But this is more closely related to requirements management and traceability topic, which we will discuss in my upcoming videos. To summarize, I would like to give you some useful tips. Before you start any documentation activities, first evaluate what level of details is needed for documentation on your project. Define whether you can manage the backlog with user stories alone or if you actually need any additional documentation. If you do need documentation, then define what format of documentation will work for your project. Will it be user stories, use cases, calculational examples, diagrams, wireframes, specifications, or something else? Finally, do your best to organize the documentation process in a simple, effective way so it doesn't block the development. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope it was useful. Good luck and see you soon!